Hey, Phoenixes. I was sitting here driving to my errand, and I was just thinking about a few different things. One of the things I wanted to share was with how my ex-narcissistic psychotic partner mimicked my perfect partner. And that's how he was so able to ensnare me so thoroughly, and how I stayed trapped for so long because he really built up this image of the perfect partner. And it took me a long time. I had to put together a lot of facts for me to realize he was not the person he was portraying himself to be. One of the first things he told me on our first date was that he had been divorced for almost a year. And he had been broken up with his ex-wife for a year. And I was the first person that he had been with. And I found that really endearing. I felt like, I asked him, like, do you feel like you're ready to be in a relationship, after your marriage? And he said, yeah. And I felt good about that at the time. And, we started talking about different relationships we had had. And I told him about, some of my troubled relationships. And I asked him, what do you think, caused, the breakup of your marriage? And he didn't really know. And I still remember thinking back now, like, how that was odd. He said he felt like he worked too much and he hung out with his friends too much. That's what he said, that was the downfall of his marriage, which I know is completely bullshit now. He acted like a horrible pig and betrayed her and lied to her, stole from her, and I only know these things now from talking with her, and because I had to figure out what the hell I was going through. So I finally, broke down and reached out to her when I had wanted to reach out to her for like a year prior to when I did. But yeah, on our first date, he was literally the perfect partner. And now looking back, he, like, literally anything that I said I wanted in a partner, he just changed right there and decided he was going to be. For example, I'm vegetarian. At the time I was vegan, and I really wanted a partner who shared that value. So I told him a little bit about my values, and he's like, okay, I'll try that. And then for the next 3 years, that's what he pretended to be. There was a few other things he gave up. I guess he really liked sports a lot, and I didn't realize how much he liked sports. But I have a lot of just feelings about corporate sports, how it's been taken over by corporate entities, and like the NFL, and just how it's corrupt, and it's a different topic. But to make me happy, he just decided he wasn't going to watch sports anymore, which wasn't really what I wanted. It was more like the corporate sports that I don't care about. And it wasn't really that I didn't want him to do it, I just didn't really want it around me. But he just decided, like, he wasn't gonna do it. But yet, he was like, both of these things he was sneaking behind my back. So he's like, he was pretending to be the perfect partner, but he wasn't. And I told him at the end, I'm like, you kind of robbed me from the chance of us working through those issues and finding a balance by him just pretending whatever to make me happy. It denied me opportunities to grow. And I don't know if he'll ever think about it like that, because now, like, it wasn't like that at all. It was manipulation. It wasn't like trying to make me happy. It was actually just straight out manipulation to love bomb me and keep me from seeing who he really was. And that's just where the lies started. And just thinking about it, or like going back and thinking about our first date, it like went on for hours. And And I'm thinking back, and like I did most of the talking during the first date. So now he was just like, just gathering all this information on me and like trying to find out what I wanted in a perfect partner. He just like did those things. Like he acted real. I'm really into magic, and I'm really into earth-based practices and the spirituality. And he really acted like interested in those things. Like he went and bought some tarot cards, and then he pretended to want to use them with me, but then he would stop. So like even then I was like, okay, is this guy like real? I remember feeling that way even in the beginning, like, is this guy really real? And so like in the back of my mind I'm just like gathering all this evidence, like I would teach him how to do a couple of protection spells. And then like after we would have like this session, like he would never like follow up with me with any questions. He never acted interested in learning anymore. And so I just kind of tucked that stuff away. Yeah. Like everything was a facade, and like he would never really show me who he was. Like I still don't even feel like I really know who he was, because I think he was afraid if he showed me who he really was, I wouldn't be interested, which is probably spot on. And he didn't really care about the relationship. Really wasn't about bonding with another person. It was just about having somebody filling a spot where he felt empty. That's been a hard realization to come to, knowing that I was just filling his void. And now he's just on next, doing it to the next person, and it's just heartbreaking. The whole thing is just heartbreaking. Just that he leaves this trail of heartbreak in his path and doesn't really give anyone any closure. You know, I kind of had to find my own closure and figure out this insanity after the fact. Yeah, that's one thing I was thinking about. That the first date went on for a really long time, and it was like perfect. And I remember he tried to move in on me like really quickly, like probably within the first half hour of the date. He wanted to kiss me. And I remember feeling like really put on the spot. It felt really thrilling at the time to have someone who seemed like so sure of what they wanted. And it was me. It felt like so thrilling. But now looking back at it, he was just pushing things really, really fast. And that's how the whole like relationship was, just pushing really fast. And then when he got to another point where he wanted to be, he'd push another level. And so yeah, if you ever like are dating someone and things are going really fast, he just seems too perfect to be true. He probably is. You know, that's one thing looking back now, like, okay, you know, no person is that perfect. No one wants to match you that completely and be willing just to change themselves just to match you. It's just something is kind of just not off with that.